Hello everybody, this is Quinn, that's Snazzy iPhone Guy, and thank you for watching Idiot's Guide to BitTorrenting. This video is brought to you by SquareTrade.com. Go to SquareTrade.com/TSIG for your 2-year iPhone warranty. Now this video does come with a bit of a disclaimer. I am not to be held responsible for anything that you download via BitTorrent. This is simply and purely educational, and you are to use this at your own risk. Only download files that you own the legal rights to. So, we're going to talk about BitTorrent and what it is. Let's get into the basics and the terminology of it. It's known as a P2P file sharing network, or peer-to-peer. Now, the biggest and most well-known peer-to-peer network was LimeWire. LimeWire has since deceased, and BitTorrent has kind of taken the reins. Founded in 2001, BitTorrent is the safest, the fastest, and the most efficient way to share and download files on the internet. Now, BitTorrent is used a lot for piracy. Once again, I don't recommend that you pirate items through BitTorrent. However, this is possible. Now, BitTorrent is a very unique and very basic process. Basically, what there are two sides, seeders and leechers. Seeders are people that are hosting the file to other computers. So when you go to download an album that you own and you're trying to BitTorrent it, what will happen is seeders, or other people spread across the world, have this album on their computer. And what they're doing is sharing it to you. Now, unlike LimeWire, it couldn't be any generic file. It has to be verified by the BitTorrent or the torrent file, which is hosted on a torrent site. Now, if that didn't make much sense to you, don't worry. It basically means that files are a heck of a lot more secure. It doesn't download anything that the torrent file doesn't say to go download. So as long as you get your torrents from responsible and safe sites, which I'm going to show you, you won't incur any viruses. It's a very safe way to get files. So we've talked about seeders, and they're basically the people that are pushing the file out to the world. When you download it, you're getting it from a seeder. Now when you download it, you're called a leecher. And leechers are people who have downloaded it or are currently downloading it. Now, if you're currently downloading it, you're a leecher, and you can soon become a seeder and put that file back out to the world. It's generally accepted that you are a 1-to-1 ratio seeder. You're a 1.0 ratio seeder, and what that means is for every file you download, you upload exactly that file, exactly the same size and or more. Now, I'm going to show you a website, and I'm going to be honest, my ratio isn't very good. I think it's 0.25. I'm going to try and get that back up, but I've downloaded 4 gigabytes of content and only put up about 1. So as for general etiquette, it is expected of you to have a 1.0 ratio. So we've talked about seeders and leechers. Now let's talk about the health of a torrent. Healthy torrents have more seeders than leechers. That means there's more people that have already downloaded it and are sharing it across the world than people that are currently, at this moment, downloading the file. Now, if there are more leechers than seeders, it becomes an unhealthy torrent. This is dangerous because since there's so many people getting it from so few individuals, oftentimes you'll get crawling, just barely fast enough bit rates, and it's a really unenjoyable experience. The best way to have it is to be seeding fast and to be seeding quickly and to have more seeders than leechers. Enough of what BitTorrent is, let's get into it. There are several ways to download BitTorrents. Now, I'm going to show you where to get the actual torrent files, but I'm going to tell you 2 clients to download BitTorrent. There are not millions, but there are probably hundreds of BitTorrent clients around the world that work on different operating systems. I'm going to recommend 2 to you. One is Transmission, and it's a Mac OS X client, and the other one is uTorrent. This works on Windows as well as Mac. Now, there are others such as Views, which is formerly Azurius, and a bunch of other ones, but I don't recommend them because they're bulky and they advertise other stuff. These are pure raw-to-the-bone BitTorrent clients. They're beautiful, they're fast, and they just work. So the first one is uTorrent, and you can Google both of these. They're very easy to find. uTorrent is a BitTorrent downloader, a very tiny BitTorrent downloader for Macintosh and for Windows. Now, you can download it, as I said earlier, Mac and PC. It doesn't matter. There's the Windows version, and it's a very easy way to download stuff. It's a very simple client, and I'm not even going to explain to you how to use it because it is very self-explanatory. I'll show you with Transmission, but that's about the same. And then there is Transmission. Transmission is a Macintosh only client that is beautiful and works very well. Oh, maybe it isn't Macintosh only. You know, it's looking like it's Macintosh only. It runs on a few other Linux operating systems, but Macintosh is where it's at, and Transmission is free. Both of these are free, by the way, and they both work very well. So I have Transmission, and we're going to boot this baby up, and that's all it is. It's very fast to launch, and it shows me my current ratio through what I've downloaded on Transmission. I was using uTorrent until now. If you're on a Macintosh, I recommend Transmission. If you're on a PC, I absolutely recommend uTorrent. uTorrent's good on the Mac, but I don't prefer it to Transmission. So what we're going to do is go to Safari. Right here on Safari, we have two websites which are torrent hosting websites. They're very, very good. The first one is Demonoid. Demonoid is probably the best torrent community in the world because it's invite only. Now, what I mean by that, it is pretty exclusive to get into, and it is very difficult to get into. I believe once a month or one day of the month, they have what's called open registration. And open registration is exactly how it sounds. For 24 or 48 hours or however long it is, you're able to go in and register an account without getting an invite. Now, this is the best way to do it. This is the best time to do it, especially if you don't know anyone who has a Demonoid account. I will not, and so do not ask me, I repeat, I will not give you an invite code to Demonoid. You're going to have to find one on your own. Now, what we're going to go to is on Demonoid, and then the other one is ISO Hunt. I forgot about that. ISOhunt.com is an open public BitTorrent area. Now, basically what ISO Hunt is the Google of BitTorrent. It doesn't actually have its own hosted files, and that's why Demonoid is somewhat preferred. All of these files are not hosted, but they're only available to Demonoid clients. So this means that all of the files are ensured that they're safe, that they're real, and so on Demonoid you're guaranteed no viruses, no terrible content, no pornography, none of that garbage. It's just exactly the content that you want. ISO Hunt is a little bit more vague because, as I said earlier, it's kind of the Google. It tries and finds the best torrents for you, but it doesn't always guarantee it. Now, what I'm going to do is, let's say I'm going to Demonoid and I have my invite. Veil is an album which is available exclusively to Demonoid. As I stated earlier, this is a legal file. It's exclusively on Demonoid.com, which means I can download it. This is free, and the band has posted it. So we're totally good to go on this. It's a perfectly legal file, and we don't have to worry about anything. And this is an example of files that are available on the internet that are absolutely safe to download. BitTorrent isn't always illegal, and this is one example where it's very legal to download. So what we're going to do on Demonoid is click here to download this torrent. If we click it, we'll see a tiny little file that's downloaded by Safari. If we double click it, we are going to see Transmission pop open. Transmission automatically opens any .torrent files, as does uTorrent. I think you launch the application once, and once you've done that, it will open all .torrent files, so that's handy. Now, it knows exactly what's in this EP, and we can select what we do and we don't want. I usually don't want the torrent downloaded from Demonoid.com because you don't really need it. It just tells you where you got it. I do want the album art, and I do want the 4 songs. So we're going to leave those checked, and I'm going to press Add. When I press Add, it's going to begin downloading. Now, it says it's 32 megabytes, and it doesn't know the time remaining because it's still finding how many people there are. As you can see here, there are 35 seaters, or 35 people who are currently having it on their computer saying, "Okay, world, take this album," and then one person who is currently downloading it. Now, if we go to ISO Hunt, we might be able to search for Veil. However, I don't believe that we will. We can give it a shot, though. So basically, all of these folders are illegal. I mean, as far as I'm concerned. Here's an example of kind of crap that you find on ISO Hunt that probably isn't the safest for your computer. If you want no viruses guaranteed, Demonoid's the place to be. But if you can't get an invite to Demonoid, ISO Hunt works very well also. Now, as you can see here, there's an S and an L. That stands for seaters and leechers. So there are 51 people seating this 194.16 megabyte file and 10 leechers. So if we downloaded that file, which we could do by clicking, it's going to take us to the page, and we can press download this torrent, which is somewhere. I don't know where. So you'll say find this on BitTorrent or find this on the web, and it will go to the place where you can get it. I'm not going to download it because, as I stated earlier, it's not a legal file. If you choose to do this, you're doing so at your own risk, and I don't support you. So we can go to transmission, and as you can see, it's already done. It downloaded the 32 megabyte file. It downloaded the 4 songs in that EP. And now, we were leeching before. Now we are seeding. Now, we're not seeding to anyone because no one's downloading it right now. But if we leave this in our queue, this will continue to seed. So if someone comes along and says, hey, I want the 2008 EP of Veil, you're going to begin to upload this. And it's expected that you kind of leave this in your queue until you've uploaded 32.1 megabytes and or more. And your ratio is 1. So we can go to our downloads folder or wherever it's saved, and we can find all the songs. We play them, and we're good to go. So that worked. It's very handy. It's very nice, and that is BitTorrent. It's a very simple system. Don't be worried about viruses. Don't be worried about all that other stuff. You do need to be careful. You do need to be cautious, but it's not like LimeWire where you can barely use it without getting a virus. It's much safer. It's much more secure, and that is how to use BitTorrent. Hopefully this tutorial was a little bit of help, and you explained you understand the basis and the background of BitTorrent and how it works rather than just leeching off of people. Hopefully you seed, be good seeders, and use BitTorrent responsibly. Thanks so much for watching. This is Quinn, That Snazzy iPhone Guy. Please subscribe, rate, and comment. And as always, stay snazzy. See you later, folks.